Do you want an easier way to manage your Zoom calls? Looking for an alternative to keyboard shortcuts? Stay tuned and I'm going to show you an easy way to handle all of this and more. Welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter, your home for all things relating to smart home technology. In this episode, we're going to talk about managing your Zoom calls with something called StreamDeck. Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and we're going to be working on this together. This content is also available as an Amazon Flash briefing or podcast. Please go to techbiteswithronnutter.com for more information. For any items mentioned in this episode, there are affiliate links in the description. If you click on these links, I will get a small commission, but that won't affect the price you pay for the item. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe now and enable notifications. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. Now, here's what we're going to be covering. Now, first of all, what is a Stream Deck? And this is going to be something I think you're really going to hear about. Then we'll talk about installing and configuring the Stream Deck software. Then we'll go through about testing Zoom integration. Then I got a value add for you, but that's going to be toward the latter part of the video, and I think you'll be very happy with it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure it's at the top of all your list with everything else that's going on is, Ron, what is Stream Deck? Well, I tell you what, this is something that started out in a different life, so to speak, and has come full circle. There's all sorts of things you can do. This is something that there's multiple sizes for. What you are looking at now is the Stream Deck Mini, 6 buttons, but that's just the physical buttons. There's all sorts of things you can do. There is also its bigger brother, which is the Stream Deck, which has 15 keys on it. And there's a big boy that's the Stream Deck XL that really takes it to another level. But for what we're doing, we're going to be concentrating on the Stream Deck because this is one, it's the entry-level one, and depending on where you can find it, it's about $70 or so. Well worth the time to do it. It's basically a macro keyboard. It's dumber than a box of rocks until you get the Stream Deck software. Then that's where the fun begins. And we're going to show this to where we'll get it, the software configured. I'll show you how to integrate it with Zoom. We'll do a test call. Now, we're not going to hear any audio with Zoom, but you'll be able to see the status of the buttons change. And if you've heard one Zoom call, you know what, you don't really want to hear another one. And then the last part of our video is we'll get to the surprise that I think you're really going to want to see. So let's go ahead and get started. The next part we're going to get to do is actually setting up the Stream Deck software. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll switch over to trusty demo cam. And I've already got the Zoom client installed, so that's not a problem. And to get the Stream Deck software installed, not a big deal. Because what you see at this point prior to doing anything is you're going to see a logo like that on the screen. So basically it's trying to figure out where home is, and right now it has nothing that it can do. So we're going to select next to take the defaults. We'll go install. And this takes just a few minutes to install. There will be periodic updates. The folks at Elgato are real great about coming out with updates, and let's get that closed so you don't have any problem there. Now, I've already got one thing done here, and you can see there's Zoom integration. So if you don't see that when you install yours, and you probably won't, and we'll just uninstall Zoom here just a bit because it takes just all of a second to take out the plugin. We'll say uninstalled, no muss, no fuss, and there's what you're going to see when you get in. So to get installed, just click on More Actions, and we've already got the Zoom selected here, so we'll just say Install. And then that's it. So we'll just scroll down here and you can see there's all sorts of presets available. Again, now this is something that you can do as much as you want to or as little as you want to. There's a few basic things to get started with, and that's what we're going to be covering this time. So back over to trusty demo cam here. To get this set up, it's real easy. It's literally drag and drop. Now, the big thing I always get myself into trouble with is not having my audio muted. Now you can drag over just the preset and you're done. Or you could put text in it by typing down here. The graphics on this are good enough. I don't worry about it. Now, video toggle, you may not want to have your camera on or be able to kill your camera quickly. this is an easy way to do it. If you want to use keyboard shortcuts, there's another way to do it, but I'm trying to get you up and running quickly. Now, the other thing that you'll want to do is probably have leave meeting on there. That way you can just tap a button, Bob's your uncle. Now, here is what we're looking at so far. So literally what you see on the screen is what you're seeing on the Stream Deck Mini. You can't make it much easier than that. We will go here and open up the web browser, and we'll go to zoom.us/test, if I can spell, and I can't. Today is not one of those days I seem to be able to spell real well. And test, and we'll say join. I've already been into the Zoom software once, and I've just told it to use system audio and to go in and accept the software. Now it should launch automatically. It did. At this point, it's already got the start video disabled. Literally, if we want to disable audio, tap. It disables. Depending on the meeting coordinator may have done, they may have certain things set to happen automatically. Now, when you disable it, a nice little strike goes right through the graphic. So if we go through here, and now we've disabled video, well, but see, it sensed that it was actually already disabled. So if we go back over here, now it says start the video. So it got a little bit out of sync here. If we go start video, it sensed that the button was a little out of whack. Now, once we're through, we can press leave meeting. One thing you still have to say, click on leave meeting, but at least it gets you to that point. So that's at least better than trying to hunt down and figure out where the keyboard shortcuts are, or hunting around the screen and try to get the drop downs to appear. So really, it's an option. Now we're to the secret sauce that I was teasing you with earlier. Controlling Zoom with the Stream Deck is great. It's one less thing you have to be near the keyboard for, and you can just go on from there. But how about if we can take it up the next step? Most of us who are set up for work from home have at least 1 or 2 lights near the desk. Well, if it gets unexpectedly dark, or you're having to work later at night or early in the morning, you got to turn on the light bulb, and it may not be near the desk. So let's go ahead and take this to the next level, and let's integrate some of the smart home technology that you probably already got. So what we're going to do is go here, and if we go down here to more actions, and I've got LiFX in place, so we will just clear the search box, LiFX, and then we'll click install. Now, this is another one of those things that I need to make sure that I give you the proper disclaimers. If this is on a work computer, and if you're on some sort of VPN, we're going to have to do this a different way. But if you're on your own computer and your company has an open VPN in terms of only corporate traffic goes back to corporate, then we're probably okay. It's just a matter of what visibility you may have to your home network. And that's just going to take some experimentation, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and move back to configuring for LiFX. Now what we'll go is we'll scroll down here. To save keys, I'm going to go toggle LiFX power. And that way it's going to take an existing bulb and start from there. We'll tell it to discover devices. And it did. Okay, it had those there. I just didn't see them. Now I've got 2. These are ones I've already got set up. There's actually a third one that is not in play right now. So we'll just pick the one called chair. Then what we want to do is we can just go over here, and as you can see on the graphic, or actually on the demo cam, now the bulb is there. So tap once and you will see the bulb come up, then tap again. There's really not a good way to show status of the bulb changing, because the two-way integration is not really there, but it lets you see what your options are. So this is something that at least it gives you some flexibility. And like I said, you can do all sorts of things here. And this is where with 6 buttons, you have to get a little creative. So what we can do is we can actually delete this one, and we can get it back quickly enough. And then we can, I'm going to reach over here quickly and plug in my third bulb. And this should be the one that I should have plugged in earlier and didn't. Now, what we'll do here is we'll go here and say new profile. and we'll edit profiles. And then what I can do here is I will just rename him to LiFX. You can call it anything you want to. We can just close this window out because it remembers that one, and we can delete the welcome button because I really don't need another welcome button. I don't know about you. So we can toggle LiFX power, and we can put it here. And let's discover devices one more time because it should be a third person out. A matter of, there we go. I didn't give it enough time. So there's Studio. Okay, so Studio is what one. You can see you can turn on more than one bulb. And this point, we'll call this one Desk. And if you hit enter, then you can actually have multiple lines of text within limitations. Now, if you want to do things such as setting brightness, we can say Studio. Brightness, we'll call it 50%, thinking that we may not need things that bright, say at certain times of the day. And then we can go back here and set brightness to 100%. And we'll select Studio, and we'll call it 100. Now, to get back to the screen, this is where we have to look for something a little bit different. I think it's under System. No, I knew I was going to pick the wrong one. It will go to Switch Profile, and we can put that down here. Now, Switch Profile, we just call this one Main for lack of a better phrase. And we can say Default Profile. Again, you can change these to however you want. And then when you select Main, it puts you back to that one. And then all we do is do another Switch Profile. And we can call this LiFX or whatever you want. If I can spell here. Some days you just simply can't spell. And then we select LiFX and go from there. So we can go, as you can see, going to demo cam here. So literally everything we're doing in the Stream Deck program gets us this almost instantaneous response here. So we'll tap on LiFX, and then we can tap that and see the bulb has gone off. So the only thing you have to watch for is occasionally there's going to be a little bit of a delay. Now it could be a matter of a few seconds, and it might be 20 or 30 seconds. And with it on, we can take it down. So we've got it to where you can move back and forth. So you've got your main buttons there to get things in place. We can go to LiFX and turn on the bulb. Now, what can occasionally cause it to get a little confused is if you're changing bulb status pretty quick in short order. I've seen, and this is not just something for LiFX, but it's others in general. Okay, there we go. It just started responding again. So I've been hitting it a lot really quick, and it, needless to say, doesn't like that. Now, if you can't see anything under here, we need to take an additional step. Now, remember when I mentioned earlier that depending on your connection to your work networking gear, that you might not see your LiFX bulbs listed. Well, here's a way that might get it to work. Since you may not have any visibility or be able to see your local smart home gear, we're going to shift over and use something called IFTTT, which stands for if this and that. Real easy to do. You just create an account. You can have up to 3 things that you can deal with without having to upgrade to a higher level account. So what we'll do is we'll click on create, and then we'll click add. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for something called webhooks. And this is going to allow us to send a link over the internet to fire this off. And we will call this bulb. Again, I can't spell today. Bulb on. I would encourage the use of underscore or dashes, because you start putting spaces in and that can kind of get a little fun for you. Now, we'll add what we want it to control, which is going to be, this is getting to be comical. I can't spell. We'll click on LiFX and we will toggle. I'm big for using toggle when you can, because that at least minimizes the number of buttons and triggers that we've got to deal with. So what we can do is we'll call, it's actually studio. So the way I've got things organized, it's home, studio, studio. And there's probably a better way of doing it, but that's what I've done for right now. So, and then we'll click create action. Now, remember when that web request we had earlier, let's go back in. Oh, let's click continue. Okay. Remember that bulb underscore on. That will be important here in just a second. And when you're first testing it, go ahead and turn on notifications. It will get a little monotonous after a while, so you can turn it back off. But this is good for troubleshooting for you to see when it has worked out. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know about dealing with webbooks. It's a few extra steps, but not anything impossible. What you'll want to do is go to iftt.com/maker_webhooks. Reason being, you need to go to the documentation tab, and this will make it a lot easier to deal with. So what you can do here, now this is, you'll get a key similar to this one, and I'm going to be changing the key. So this is where you plug in the app or the trigger condition we just set. So that's what all this web link is going to do. We can just copy that whole link, and if we can go test it, and we should see the bulb come on. There you go. You just saw it come up there in the corner, and then we can click it again. Okay, it goes off. Now let's go back over here to Stream Deck. What we can do is we go up here to, it's not Stream Deck in this case, it's System. And we'll drag website over. It's going to think it's going to website, but it's not. And we'll call, just to call this one out differently, we'll call this IFTTT. And then we will paste in that whole link. Now, it's important to click Access in Background, because we don't want the web page trying to be displayed on your desktop or on the Intel, not on the Intel, on your whatever your computer is, or the Stream Deck. So let's switch over here. And now you can see we've got the IFTTT. Because of the way we're doing it, you would need to put your own graphic in there if you want to, not a big deal. So we'll tap on IFT. See, the bulb comes up. And then it goes back off. So there's any number of ways you can slice and dice this one. If you can go with the native integrations first, that will be easier, but depending on your connection to work, they may not allow you to see equipment local to your house. So going through IFT is at least an option. A little more work, but if you walk through the steps that I've done here, then you're going to see how straightforward this is going to be. And you'll take a little bit of tweaking, but at least you now have the option of controlling a bulb or bulbs, if you want to have more than one, depending on the size of your work area, that you can have just a little more touch of what makes you you, and being able to work smarter, not harder. Well, we've shown you how to get Stream Deck to control Zoom. Then excuse me the little tease, but I thought you'd want to see a way of controlling LiFX. Now there is at least one more integration that you can do, and that's with Phillips Hue. So if you've got that, I'll show that in another video, but I try to be considerate in all my videos, not letting them run real long. But at least with LiFX, I've shown you how to get to it through the native LiFX integration with Stream Deck. And then if for some reason local visibility because of a VPN configuration is not possible, then as long as your company is allowing most requests out to the internet for HTTPS, then you can still get access to the bulb there. So give this a try. I think you're really going to like it. Stream Decks right now are sometimes a little hard to get a hold of, but nothing to stop you from getting the software and kind of kicking the tires and getting used to it so that when you do get your Stream Deck, that you'll be one step closer and getting ready to go. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see videos on the screen that are similar to the one you've just watched or other content that YouTube thinks you might be interested in. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on the like button, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe now and enable notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.